nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
It's a much-needed bye week for the Utes as they get set for the final stretch of the 25 season. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is your Cougar Preview Show, live here at Kenny J's Barbecue in the District in South Jordan. I want people to come on by, and if you have not had this barbecue, and you're thinking, okay, it's Utah, all the barbecue's the same. No, it is not. This is some of the best barbecue you'll ever have, not just in the state of Utah, but anywhere, period. Brisket, phenomenal. Ribs, phenomenal. We want you to come by and try it out. It's Kenny J's Barbecue in the District in South Jordan. Get here now, and if nothing else, go get yourself some banana pudding, too.
Oh, it's all really good, and it's fun to see some good traffic here for their lunch. I'm glad that Kenny J's is picking up, and you always know it's a good barbecue joint when it's packed for lunch and packed for dinner.
Yep.
And that's Kenny's. So come in, try some of his amazing brisket, some of his great ribs. You know, Scotty and I always suggest the nachos. He fries his nacho chips fresh here in-house in tallow, so you get a nice crunchy chip with some great sauces, some amazing meats on top, some great cheese, some beans. It's just delicious nachos. Come in and have a set.
Let's do it. All right, it is your Cougar Preview Show, getting you ready for the biggest game of the year so far in the Big 12. BYU, Texas Tech. Chris Level, sideline reporter for Texas Tech, will join us a little bit later on. He's been on the show a bunch of times, one of our favorite dudes that covers the Big 12. But, Hans, last night, the college football playoffs came out. You asked me, I don't know if we had this conversation on the air or off the air. I said I thought 7-8. You thought they'd be in the 6-7 range, and boom, right there, number 7.
Number 7, it kind of hit exactly where we thought it would, and I didn't expect Texas Tech to be right there with them, 7 and 8. So that kind of highlights this game. I think that this game is going to be heavily viewed. Game day is out there. All eyeballs are going to be on it. And there will never be a more important game for BYU to solidify the top 10 ranking, to solidify that number, to prove to the country and all the viewers that they're the real deal and that they're here to stay, because everybody wants to doubt them. Mm-hmm. Everybody. They've been doubted since the minute the true freshman was announced. They were taken out of the top 25. The AP took a few weeks to even get them back into the top 25. They've clawed their way to 8-0 with some big comebacks and some big wins over ranked teams, beating Iowa State, beating Utah, beating teams that had a lot to prove, and BYU just continued to win. And I think everybody is still sitting there like, they're not real. This isn't real. At least that's the feel I get. Now, I feel like the CFP selection committee said, no, we think they're real.
They're real.
So we're putting them in at number 7. And then the CFP said, but we're going to make sure they're real, and we're going to put Texas Tech right there next to them at 8. And I think that this is a massive game. 2 top 10 teams in the Big 12 taking on each other. 2 of only 4 teams in the Big 12 that showed up in the top 25. So it is time for BYU to flex their muscles and to show the country what they're all about.
By the way, Utah getting some good respect as well, coming in at 13. Remember, this is a 12-team playoff here, too. So Utah in the cusp of being in the conversation of an at-large bid if they're unable to get into that conference championship game. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow on the Ute Preview Show. But, Hans, you're around like the NCAA basketball committee, the football committee on the college football playoff. These committees make statements, and you hit it right on the head. That was a major statement made of, okay, you know what? We're not quite sure what to make of this game on Saturday, so we're going to slot them in right next to each other. And if you think that they think more about BYU than Texas Tech, they really don't. It's 7A, 7B is what they're.
And they know that they're going to play.
And they know they're going to play. There's a reason they were right next to each other. They could have had Texas Tech 7 and BYU 8, but BYU's undefeated, so they put them ahead of Texas Tech. Essentially, they are looking at those teams as the same exact team. And then whoever wins will be dropped out of the top 12, or at least down into the double digits, 10, 11. And then you'll see that other team kind of hold steady there at that 6 or 7 mark. So this is such a massive game because the committee is saying, we don't know which one to choose, so we're going to put both of them in, but don't think both of them are right there on the cusp of getting, of right there being an at-large if the other team wins the outright conference championship in the championship game. Whoever loses this game is going to take a tumble, and it's going to be imperative for BYU to win this game.
So what's going to be interesting, if BYU does what they should do and beats Texas Tech, you just mentioned it, to hold steady, that would put them at 9-0. That would leave them as one of only 4 undefeated teams, and they just beat the number 8 team in the country. I actually think that they'll jump 1, if not 2, of the 1-loss teams in Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss. This could get them as high as 5. The highest they got last year at 9-0 was 6.
Yeah.
I believe 6.
I think that's right.
6 was their peak CFP ranking last year at 9-0. I think 9-0 with a win over Texas Tech gets them to 5. And what's interesting is they slotted a 1 through 12. They built out their playoffs, and you talked about this. First round of playoffs show BYU hosting Notre Dame at LaVell Edwards Stadium. It's stuff like that just gets...
Inject that into my veins, by the way.
It just gets... It raises the stakes.
Yes.
And I love seeing it. Like, I'm looking at it like, oh, my gosh. BYU as a 7 versus Notre Dame as an 11. Was that right?
Yep.
I believe that's how they had that. No, sorry. Yeah, BYU is a 7, Notre Dame is a 10. And playing at LaVell Edwards Stadium in the first round, I don't know. I love to see it. I just am hoping players don't see it. I'm hoping coaches don't see it. I hope they all continue to ignore it because that stuff just gets in your way, man.
Yeah.
It gets in your mind.
Hey, you ready for another? Vegas has already weighed in. If Notre Dame were to play at BYU, they've already set the odd where the teams are at right now. This is all just hypothetical.
Speculation.
But they do go to this is betag.com.
Okay, so this would be BYU versus Notre Dame at home
at LaVell Edwards Stadium, based on the teams right now. And again, they do go to the odds makers on this and say, hey, and I've used this service as well with these guys and say, hey, you know what, if these teams were going to play at a neutral site, what would the odds be? And they talk to the odds makers and they come back with what it would be. You want to take a guess as to what they said?
Well, knowing what Vegas is trying to do, Vegas is just trying to get people to bet.
Yep.
So my guess is they're going to waive 9.5.
BYU 7.5.
Dog.
No, favorite. Oh, no, wait a minute.
A dog.
No, they got BYU as the favorite. Notre Dame 7.5.
So they.
Oh, no, they don't. No, you're right.
BYU's the underdog,
because I was looking at. I thought it was a typo because they got BYU and the odds of if they win playing Indiana. And so I was assuming that they were going to have. So I'm like, plus 7.5, but they got to move it on. But they also have Notre Dame and Indiana odds. But yeah, it's Notre Dame as a 7.5.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because that's you know what Vegas is just trying to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Look at what Vegas has done in every BYU game.
Yep.
How many times has BYU been the underdog? 3?
Yeah.
I think 3 times.
I haven't even seen what's the line this weekend.
It's Texas Tech 7.5. No, it's Texas Tech's 10.5 is what it opened. Yeah, it was Texas Tech 10.5 on open.
Yeah.
Here, I'll tell you right now. It is currently, Texas Tech at 10.5.
By the way, if BYU were to beat Notre Dame, they have the odds on the Indiana game. That's why I thought that there must have been a typo because they project.
Indiana 13.5.
12.
Yeah. Vegas knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get the BYU fans to,
Like, we know you don't like to gamble, but we're going to push your buttons enough to try to get you to move that
exactly.
number.
And it's like, okay, if they're going to be a national power, we have to find a way to engage this fan base in gambling. You have to.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Because nobody's ever going to put money on BYU.
Yeah.
Unless the line shows so heavy and people are like, oh, it gets their emotions. They're like, how dare you disrespect us?
Yeah.
And then you get off your wallet and you put $100 on it, and Vegas has you because all they're trying to do is the break-even point.
Yep. They just want that. They want that. The juice.
They want as much money on Texas Tech as is on BYU, and they want to collect that interior pot.
Yep.
That's it. They don't want significant losses. And if they favor BYU, and, thousands of Texas Tech fans are already gambling on the game, and that gets thousands of more, they're not doing their job.
Yeah.
Because then they just lose a boatload when BYU loses or wins.
We cannot stress this enough. Never feel disrespected by the Vegas odds. Don't ever look at that like, oh, they disrespecting us. They can miss and miss badly, and it happens every now and then. But all they're trying to do, they're as much of a fan of you as they are the other team. They just want that thing to go right down the middle.
Yeah.
Because they just want that little shave off the top. And if it's a 50-50, boom, they'll take it and they'll be very happy.
Yeah, they definitely don't want all the leverage on one side.
No.
And then they suffer a massive loss. That's not what they're trying to do. So I get it. And you know what's great? BYU continues to crack these odds. They continue to crack Vegas. And they have beat the odds many, many times, and they'll continue to do it. Texas Tech, a 10.5-point favorite in this game, that's a slap in the face. Now, we know what Vegas is trying to do, but it's a slap in the face. BYU fans look at it as a slight. They're like, this is not happening. So I like where they currently have it. I like the disrespect. I hope that the players take it that way, and I hope they show them what they're all about. But a 7-8 matchup, game day couldn't have picked a better game.
No.
This is a 10 o'clock local kick. It's 11 o'clock central kick. Greg and I will be in the booth at 8, I think, kicking off our pregame. It's going to be an early morning. But what I love is this comes right out of game day activities and right into the BYU Texas Tech game.
Yeah. So this is going to be essentially a noon kickoff Eastern time.
On ABC.
On ABC. So, how many people back east are going to watch watch a game that starts at 8:30? Not a lot. I mean, just be honest. How well are you able to watch a game starting at 10:30 p.m.? Doesn't happen very often. So there's no excuses. You got the spotlight, you got network TV, you got game day, and you got a midday Eastern kickoff.
So, Scotty, the Big 12, I believe this was the last time I looked, and that was like a week ago. The Big 12 has one game that has gone 5 million plus viewers, and it was TCU versus UNC. It was the Bill Belichick game.
The Bill Belichick game.
That people were just tuning in. They wanted to see what the whole Bill Belichick story was all about. Is that right?
Yeah, you're right.
UNC TCU, right?
Yep.
Other than that, I don't think they've had a 5 million viewership game.
This could top it.
This needs to break 5. This has got to crack 5.
Yeah.
The Big 12 has to flex their muscles. Now, they put it in the right slot. They put it on the right delivery. It's in everybody's face. It'll be promoted big. But this needs to be a 5+ million. Remember, BYU Colorado bowl game got 8.6 million.
Yeah.
They blew the ceiling off viewership. So I know people out there, I know they're curious and interested, and you talked about back east. It's going to be noon for Eastern time.
Yeah.
It's noon. People are grabbing a little bit of lunch. They're settling in front of their TV, and they're going to be watching BYU Texas Tech. If BYU does what I know that they can do, and the true freshman impresses, I could see BYU just off of interest, views, and productivity. I could see them moving into the top 5.
Oh, yeah. Depending on what else happens.
I think they're going to jump 2 one-loss teams.
They won't jump Alabama.
And depending on who does what in front of them.
Yeah.
But I really think they could jump into the top 5.
Hans and Scotty, this is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies return home to Logan for a battle against the Nevada Wolfpack. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We are live here at Kenny J's Barbecue, the district in South Jordan. Come on down, check out this barbecue. It is flat out incredible. Some of the best barbecue you'll ever have. And it would, they've got a lot of food here. It may not slow down the metabolism of one Mitch Juergens, who joins us now, but he could probably do some damage here.
Oh, he would nail these burnt-in pork belly bits that are just incredible. Mitch, where are you, and how quick can you get here?
Dang it, Hans. I'm freaking I'm hungry now.
These are so good, man. They're candied pork belly burnt ends, and they are fall apart. They are delicious. I don't know where exactly you are, Mitch, but I will keep you a dish if you're going to work your way down here.
Hey, I might just have to look at the schedule and try and make some arrangements.
Yeah, we'll do it, man.
Let's make it happen. So BYU checks in at 7 in the college football playoff poll, the first one released last night. Is that about where you thought BYU would end up at?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, in the AP poll, getting up to 8, I thought they had a chance to be ranked a bit higher than some of those one-loss teams, and they moved them one. So, I like it. I agree with it. I love that Texas Tech is right behind them. I mean, this is an ideal matchup, and I honestly couldn't be more excited for this weekend.
You talk about it being an ideal matchup, and you've been a part of the BYU broadcast. How many years is it now? 8? Is it?
Yeah, 8 seasons.
8 seasons. We're looking at a 7-8. We're looking at game day. We're looking at a 11 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Mountain Time kick. Have you been a part of a game that has this level of magnitude?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's everything. I mean, I've been a part of games that were super exciting on our side, right? We're going into some big games, being the clear underdog and walking away with a win. Like I remember calling the Tennessee game back when Zach Wilson and Micah Simon there late in the game. Wisconsin going in, getting a big upset win there. I mean, those were big games, but that was for BYU as a significant. Just like they shouldn't have won that game because they weren't ranked. And then you draw it up here, and this is a top 10 matchup. I mean, the buzz is felt everywhere I go. I mean, I walk into work and everybody wants to talk about this upcoming matchup, and it's pure excitement. I mean, this is a once in a lifetime game. It feels like. The hope is they continue to, the Big 12 is on the rise, and that these matchups continue to happen down the stretch and even into, the next couple of years. But this is kind of new territory, and we're all feeling it right now, which is cool.
Kalani Sitake said earlier in the week that this is the best defensive line that they have faced so far this year. When you look at what Texas Tech wants to do defensively, look, they're all about TFLs. They're all about sacks. How creative is Aaron Roderick going to have to be to make sure the Bear Bachmeier stays upright? Or do you think BYU's got the horses up front to just be able to handle it straight up?
I mean, I think that's the question mark right now, because one thing that's been incredibly, convincing this year for BYU is just how strong their front five have been in the run game. And I say front five, I should say front six with Carson Ryan and his ability to move the pile as well. And I mean, their run blocking game has been so good, and so it makes for an intriguing watch this weekend, just given how dominant Texas Tech has been this season in stopping the run, but also how powerful BYU has been. And this BYU offensive line, I mean, they've as of late have gotten some pretty good credit, but I mean, this is a group that is, I mean, they're nasty. They're powerful. There's a lot of depth there too. I mean, there's so many guys, and they're coming into this game healthy that can get in there, mix it up, and with an additional week of prep and rest, like I have no doubt that they're going to come out firing. And I think the question mark is what does that battle in the trench look like? I feel good about BYU's ability to still move the ball. They've done it so well the wrinkles that Aaron Roderick has been able to mix in. I mean, having a running quarterback like Bear Bachmeier, it's something that you have to account for as a defense. With the combination of him and LJ, some of the misdirection stuff, some of the, even putting LJ Martin as a lead blocker for Bear. I mean, that can make a really challenging task for Texas Tech to stop. So, I mean, I like the matchup, but it'll be, a true test. Who's got the real strength there on the line?
It feels like about a month ago that you, Greg, and I were on the broadcast in Ames, and you saw L.J. Martin go down. You saw him head to the medical tent. I know it was kind of a somber moment for the broadcast because we're thinking, geez, how bad is it? How long could it be? And now you're hearing Aaron Roderick and others mention that L.J. Martin is going to give it a go against Texas Tech. Your thoughts on L.J., the importance of him playing in this game, and not just playing in this game, but being healthy enough to do what L.J. does?
Yeah, I mean, it's so critical. And by the way, on the news and the reports, like I was coming into this week just expecting that BYU would have to make do without him. And so it came as incredible news that he's healthy enough to give it a go. And I hope he can stay that way because it's a true difference maker with him on the field in so many different ways. I mean, I briefly mentioned his run blocking ability. But in addition, outside of that, though, he's a powerful, strong runner that defenses have to account for. And I do. I think he wants this more than anything. I think all those players on that roster right now, they recognize that this is one of the biggest games in BYU history, and they all want to be part of it, especially a guy like LJ. And so I'm sure, I have no doubt that he'll be playing through some pain. Just given, Hans, this, like, very rarely will you ever go into a game feeling 100% healthy. But in a game like this, I have a hard time thinking that anything will keep them off the field because they all want to be out there and contribute to such a highly touted and watched game this weekend.
As a receiver, how difficult if JoJo Phillips gets back into the lineup? There's weeks where he's been out and he hasn't been able to continue to develop that relationship with Bear Bachmeier. How hard is it as a receiver to get back in the mix and feel comfortable with that connection with your quarterback?
Yeah, I think it'll take some time. The hope is, that as long as JoJo's doing what he's supposed to do there, running the right routes, getting the right depth in those routes, and really just modeling his play after what Parker and Chase have been able to do, I think he can slip in pretty nicely in just being kind of to spell Chase or Parker in those moments. But if I'm Aaron Roderick, if I'm Fessy, it's going to be hard not to just ride the hot hands right now with Parker and Chase. Like, I don't know how much that's going to matter because they've been, those two have been as solid can come. And it's just been really, really exciting to watch those guys build the connection, build the camaraderie that they have and the trust that they have with Bear, because those two have been lights out. And with Bear getting more comfortable, like I think JoJo can achieve that status. I don't know how quickly that hits for JoJo, but it's definitely possible, and he's got the talent.
Mitch, I love having you on just with your insights and all your experience, and I love the fact that you get to wander the sidelines during games, jump on with Greg and I, kind of give your thoughts. And as you're wandering the sideline and you're walking past Jack Kelly or you're walking past Glasgow, two critical pieces in the remainder of this season, you've got to have them both, and they have to be clicking at a high level, especially against Texas Tech. Give me your thoughts, because Glasgow looked banged up. Jack Kelly obviously left later in that game against Iowa State. But give me your thoughts on those two linebackers, where you feel like they're at health-wise and how important they are this weekend.
Incredibly important. Again, I hope the usage of this bye week and the key timing is going to give those guys the right amount of rest and treatment. I hope those guys are living in the treatment room. I hope they were doing that this last week, and because they are. They're absolutely critical to the way that the defense performs, the way that Jay Hill has schemed up and utilized them in certain situations. They're incredibly hard to replace on the defensive side. And so at least having them out there is going to be good. But, I mean, we've seen it. Isaiah, I would almost even say Isaiah Glasgow, he hasn't missed time, like too much time, and he was never out for a game like Jack was. But he did look pretty banged up. And so I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping that they can let the adrenaline kind of take over and be able to manage the pain that they're potentially feeling pretty well, because BYU is going to absolutely need them on the defensive side. And I'll say too, I mean, Siale Acera, we saw the absence of him leaving the field this last game, what that did for the defense and the kind of the big gap that they had to overcome with just recognizing his absence and with him being back as well. I mean, those are three linebackers that have all dealt with injuries, and hopefully that they're as close to 100% as possible, because BYU is going to need them.
When you're watching this offense, how much freedom is Aaron Roderick giving Bear Bachmeier at the line of scrimmage to make his checks and to change plays at the line of scrimmage? And if so, how rare is that for a true freshman to be able to have the intelligence to be able to make those kind of calls?
Yeah. I think it's pretty rare. I don't know. I go back to my playing days, and Robert Anae is the offensive coordinator. I don't think he gave those freshman quarterbacks too many opportunities to kind of do whatever they wanted. But you're seeing it. I mean, you're seeing it every week. You're seeing Bear have a little bit more control over some of those line of scrimmage, calls that he makes and adjustments and changes that he executes there at the line of scrimmage. And I think that just speaks to, one, his talent, his recognition of the game, his ability to understand and dissect defenses a little bit more now than he did at the beginning of the season. And A-Rod trusts him. I think the entire team trusts him. There's still going to be moments and situations where you'll see some critical timeouts that they call because they don't want to give Bear too much responsibility there. And I think that just continues to help his development because yes, he's improving. Yes, he's an 8-0 true freshman starting quarterback, but that doesn't mean that he shouldn't be looked at as a freshman, because I still think there's so many development opportunities, and you'll see that with I think, Hans, we've even talked about this, like there are moments where they call timeout and they're probably feeding Bear the next 2 or 3 plays in some of these significant as the clock's winding down at the end of a half or the end of a game, because they recognize, like, we've got to take advantage of this timeout to coach him through these situations and scenarios, just to help slow the game down for him and take some of that, that thinking out of it. And so I'm sure we'll continue to see that, as they're not going to unload everything and give him full reins and full responsibility at any moment to do whatever he wants. But you are seeing that uptick week after week.
Well, we appreciate it, Mitch. Always good catching up with you. Okay, Hans, let me ask you this real quick. All right, prime Hans Olsen, 1999, 2000 Hans Olsen, offensive lineman, professional football player, versus Mitchell Juergens here at Kenny J's Barbecue.
In an eat-off?
In an eat-off. Could you hang with him in your prime?
Is this before or after Mitch ran a marathon? Because if it's after, I can't hang.
Really?
If it's before, I think it's a wash. I think it's a push on calorie and consumption. But if it's after, Mitch's calorie consumption, I mean, we're talking 12,000 in a meal. Mitch, I mean, that's not a stretch, right? Like, you've pulled in 12,000 calories in a meal, haven't you?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's all about speed. As long as you get it down fast, then your body doesn't have time to recognize how full you are yet. So,
there you go.
I'm a speed eater, but I enjoy every fast second of that.
All right.
Sitting down with Mitch and Greg and having a post-game meal, it's about as fun as it gets.
Oh, I bet.
And we're lined up for Uncle Julio's coming up Saturday after BYU's victory, and we're all going to be taking in a lot of calories.
Mitch, you're the best. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mitch.
Mitch Juergens right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Because I remember you You were like order like 4 or 5 Whoppers. Wasn't there like a Whopper challenge you did once?
Yeah. It was. Was it 2 for 2? I think it was 2 for 2 Whoppers.
Yeah.
But that was when I was a senior in high school, and I ate 6, but one of them had bad tomatoes on it, so I got food poisoning, and that was horrible.
Yeah, and it was probably the last one.
It was the last one that hurt.
It's always that last one that gets you. Hans and Scotty, we continue on Cougar Preview Show live here at Kenny J's Barbecue in the District in South Jordan. Come on by, grab some great barbecue. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It doesn't get much bigger than this. BYU and Texas Tech. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Woo!
Live here at Kenny J's Barbecue, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Tell you what, some of the best barbecue you'll ever have. I'm posting pictures of, he's got pallet after pallet stacked with post oak. Stuff just shipped in right from Texas.
Yeah, ready to smoke the most amazing meat you've ever had. Really quick before we jump out to our next guest here in a few minutes. I don't like low-hanging fruit when it comes to football games.
Yes.
But I'm actually going to make this one of the keys to the game because it's so significant and it's just so glaringly obvious. Texas Tech has forced 20 turnovers. 20 turnovers. Now, BYU's fantastic with their fumbles and with their interceptions. They're great. They've forced 16 on the season, and they're up there.
Yeah.
Texas Tech has forced 4 more turnovers, 20 turnovers so far this season. Now, here's the good thing. BYU's only given up 6. Texas Tech has given up 12. So the turnover game is going to be critical because we watched Jacob Rodriguez force multiple turnovers, both against Utah and Kansas State, with his punched forced turnovers. He is the king of it. We know that Bryce Pollock is as good of a corner as you're going to find in the country, and he picks balls off when you target him. He's got 4 interceptions on the year. We know that David Bailey has multiple strip sacks, and, in fact, 1 strip sack that I think he returned for a touchdown off a scoop and score. So this is a team that is packed full of defenders that know how to get the ball back. If BYU wins the turnover margin, they win this game. To me, it really is that critical. If they lose the turnover margin, they lose this game. BYU, I think, won 2 games this year where they lost the turnover margin.
Yeah.
They will not win this game.
Yeah, you can get away with that with some teams. Can't do that against Texas Tech on the road.
It's critical. These guys are very, very good at forcing the turnover.
Do you think Kalani practices punching the ball out? Sorry.
Oh, I think that would be a good idea.
I think that's something you should do. Chris Level from the Texas Tech broadcast joins us next.